What is going on, everybody? Today is a random ass day because I'm not even sure when this video is gonna come out, but we got some stuff to do today. I got my tools packed up. We are headed to purchase something that's going to require a couple hours of work, but we're headed out now. Probably gonna grab something to eat on the way there and then get down to business. So I literally just pulled into this house's backyard, and it's kind of sketch because they don't know me and it's tenant parking only. But you can see here the EM1 wrecked, T-boned at an intersection, and we're gonna do some pulling today. It's gonna be some fun stuff. Back seat. So this is what we're here for. Nice hefty setup. Made some really good power on, well, I wouldn't say it's basic, but you can tell AEM piping, cut and weld pied to make it into intercooler piping. But it definitely got some good stuff. Some Whitfield manifold, tile products, Victor, nice, was it Precision you said? Precision Turbo. It's a decent size too. It's AC compatible, but he ran a 3-inch piping, so it doesn't have AC anyways. Yeah, so I'm not gonna really get much into the details here, but we're gonna be pulling this out. I might lapse this, and got some extra hands today to get this out and be on our way so we don't spend too much time out here in the sun. Thank God we had this gazebo, brought this down to block us from the sun, so let's get down to business. So this took us a little bit longer to pull out because we were chit-chatting with the owner and stuff like that, and then we had issues with trying to pull the motor out from under the car with the turbo kit on it. So we got it out, and the sun finally went down because that shit was beating down on us. But yeah, so now we just got to get this into the truck, drop it off at the pad, and then you know, we'll find a date to start getting it all assembled into the new car. Yeah. I'm over here at my buddy's house, continuing from shit, I don't know how long ago picking up the motor. Yeah, about a good month, 2 months or whatever, I don't know. We picked up the motor a while ago. We just kind of didn't really have time to kind of like put it in, but today we're gonna install it. We pulled the motor. If you guys seen in the last clip, we pulled the motor with the turbo manifold and everything attaching to it. So we're not going to put it from the top. We're going to put it from underneath the same way we pulled it out. And I've always pulled it underneath because ever since I dropped the motor in my engine bay off the cherry picker, I never really like wanted to do it from the top again. But hey, I told you to clean your bay, not sand it. What do you do? The paint came off. Oh, the paint came off. Look at this guy. Look like he's getting ready to paint this or something. But all we wanted it was for the engine bay to be clean. So functional reform anywho. So yeah, we're gonna set up the transmission on the motor, get the jack into the car, get it all ready to slide underneath and swap it. Pretty bad lighting in here. So what we've done is we've pulled a few stuff out of here to throw on this engine for EG, because this motor originally came out of EK. So post mount was swapped out, a couple bolts for the Dizzy just for insurance, you know, because you never know, you might lose a bolt on a distributor. Anyway, so that's his old motor. That's a partial built B20 VTEC, and you know me guys, I'm a diehard B20 VTEC. Fortunately, he sold this to another buddy of mine, which is also going to go into an EF sedan, so kind of stay tuned for that one 20 years from now. But this motor is sold, ran fine in his car. Now we're going big boy shit right here. All we gotta do now is slap the transmission on, and then we'll go ahead and get that put into the car. I just removed the AC harness, which he thought was a fans or headlight switch. Come on now. So So I got rid of all that, just trying overlooking everything to make sure we got all the unnecessary shit out of here and make this all go in a lot easier. So let's get to it. So got the half shaft put on because we had to remove it to install the tranny to make life easier. Transmission's installed with the matching throb bearing for the clutch. Pulling off the engine harness so we can get that all put on the motor beforehand. So once it gets in, all we got to do is plug it up. It should be ready to go. So now we got all the harness and stuff hooked up. The only problem is the guy we bought the motor from, didn't give us the connectors for the gram injectors, which is going to get soon. I really don't want to cut this and run. I'm just going to run the adapter, even though it's better to run, solder them in, whatever. But it's his ex-manager, so he can get that some other day. But right now I'm just currently fixing all the brittle and broken wires. This was one of it. This is repaired. This is the coolant temp, not coolant temp. What the fuck is this? This 2-prong connector up in the front. I don't know. Reverse sensor. This one doesn't have a plug. This one does. It's getting a lighter right now to heat up the shrink wrap, and I think that's pretty much everything. Now,
hell yeah, brother. Oh, son. Oh, son. Oh, fuck.
Good progress for tonight. It's getting a little bit late. Like I've mentioned, he got work tomorrow and I don't want to keep him up, even though he doesn't mind. Harness is on, fuse box is connected on this side. Harness is also on. Harness is connected throughout the engine other than the injectors, because these are stock, those are grams. Throttle body, all the heater hoses are in place, radiators in place, intercoolers mounted. Charge pipe's not going on yet because on the EK the front end is a little bit longer, so the dump tube actually hits the frame right there. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you definitely can see it. Let me grab my phone real quick. So right there at the bottom, I tried bending it, but it actually hits the bottom tab. So we're gonna cut that out another day when we work on this car. Cut that to clear. Dump tube goes on, then charge pipe goes on. What else? Motor mount, everything's all tightened up. He's gonna take care of all the axles, the shift linkage and everything else underneath the car tomorrow. Aside from that, charge pipe, fluids, and this thing should be ready to turn on. The catch can, we found a location where the catch can is going to be mounted to. We'll do that another day as well as get a new filter. Got to get another vacuum line for the booster, because the stock one is in that position. You can see the hose is in, and the Vic direction is actually from the bottom coming up. It's a barb in the back right there. So we're gonna have to get like a just a loose straight vacuum hose like this one, and connect that up in the roller coaster into the barb. Then booster should be good. Other than that, other than all I've mentioned, the car should be ready to fire. But we're gonna wrap this up tonight and continue this another day.
It can be at a full charge,
and it'll do that.
and it doesn't. And he was like, well, I think it's your battery. And I was like, yeah, but after I dropped it.
Alright guys, so new day. Got the CRX today rather than the van squeezing in between that small ass little driveway. But we are back here in the garage finishing up the car. We're gonna do pretty much everything underneath the car. You already did all that shit. Axle, shift linkage, simple stuff, intercooler piping. I brought my stuff to cut the frame so that way we can clear the dump tube to install the hot side charge pipe. Just button up everything. And maybe, I don't know, try to start it up today or some shit. But we'll see how that goes. Axles are in, charge pipe is in place, dump tube is in place, compressor side charge pipe is in place. This axle is also on. Got the on the ball valve. Just gotta get a vacuum line for the booster, and then there's a vacuum line here which is for the blow valve. Everything else in the back is all plugged up. Still didn't get the injector clips. His buddy gets off at work a little bit later, but we're gonna mount the catch can. We already got the location where we're gonna run it, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and shift linkage. They're pulling the bumper off like 6 freaking times and cutting the grill without cutting the grill. We got the intercooler mounted behind the bumper, behind the grill. Tabs are in place, wheel is in place. So it's only like small miscellaneous things that we got to do left, but all easy stuff. Aside from the alternator, we're just gonna pull the car right now, clean it out, and then you know, just kind of doll it up a little bit, and then continue on some other day, because we got to go buy transmission fluid and all the other goodness too. So I'm gonna cut this one today until we work on the car again. And we're back. Third time's the charm, yeah? So this is the third day that we have been working on the car since putting the motor in. So today, picked up the ECU for the motor that was tuned for the motor. The fuel pump in case we want to, you know, make some pulls and shit. Make sure we're not starving on fuel pressure. We got the alternator. Well, you haven't put it on yet? Alternator's there? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. So, alternator's installed. You tied up your axle bolts. Got to tighten up the axle bolts, and then he picked up the injector clips last night, so we got those. And the vacuum line for the booster to intake manifold is there. Transmission fluid, and then we just got to install the catch can, which is where I came in the picture, because I brought my drill. We have to modify the catch can bracket. The hole right there got to go up at least 1 inch so we can mount it in the back and be able to close the hood without squishing the fucking filter. So we're gonna get down to work. Hopefully we can get the car at least turned on today, and then I'm just as excited as you guys are, so let's get to work. So we thought we were going to get the plug and play clip, but the guy's so busy that he just didn't find the plug and play clip. Instead, he just cut these plugs off his EM1 harness, which is something we didn't want to do, but you know what, he already did it, and now we are going to go ahead and wire these suckers in, solder them up, and shrink them all together, lume them up, and plug them into the injectors. And one thing less to do. So injector wirings is done. I'm gonna go ahead and mount the catch can, because I had to do the injectors before the catch can, since the line goes right here to the back of the valve cover. We just did the Walbro 255. This is temporary until we get the Walbro, no wait, it's the Grams 450, which is in the other car still. So we're gonna run that for now until the other guy has time to pull that out of his car. Then we'll use that, change it out later. But right now the 255 will definitely give it enough fuel for the power this car made. Okay, so double checking everything. We got all the wirings plugged into their home location. Injectors all done. Tower plug is in. Tower plug is in. Fuse box wire is in. Ground 1 thermostat. Ground on the trannies there, right here. Ground on the valve cover to the stud, not the valve cover. And then we got an extra one here just in case. We never touched anything here. Feed line is in. Return line is in. Just drain the oil, new oil, transmission oil. Like I said, catch can is all put together. Vacuum hose is all in, zip tied into place. That one's also zip tied into place. Fuel line's in, tightened. Return line is in and tightened. All the ports in the back of the manifold is plugged up. Axles are done. Shift linkage is on. ECU. I just installed that, and shit, we're gonna start up in just a second here. Okay guys, so he works at O'Reilly, so he knows. So when you buy coolant, buy full concentrated antifreeze, because you're only paying $2 more, and then you split it in half with distilled water, you get twice the amount of the 50/50 container. So when you don't have a funnel, you improvise. You take a water bottle, you cut it at an angle in case you splash, this will catch. You put electrical tape on the neck, and then you snug fit that right into the neck, so that way coolant doesn't come out when we're bleeding it and letting all the bubbles come out. Here I pinched a line to the reservoir, because while it's bleeding, I don't want it to back into here and fill this up. So pinching a line will allow me to fully bleed it out and no coolant coming out and going into the reservoir. So once the cooling system is all bled, then we fill this up to wherever we're supposed to fill it up to. So oil's in, tranny's in, coolant, ready to go.
Hey, put it in real quick.
Man, that window works the whole time? God damn it. Alright, so we ran into a little bit of technical difficulties. We had the alternator in, but we didn't have it all wired up, like the plug and the power wire. So I went ahead and I plugged it up. And then the starter didn't want to turn with the keys, so I was sitting there kind of like jumping the starter, and the car fired over. And with the alternator, you know, being all hooked up or whatever, it had a crazy like rod knock noise. Like it sounded like a real rod knock. So I got kind of worried, and he was telling me something about the alternator, and he actually went to go pick up his mom, and I kind of off camera, you know, tinker with it a little bit. I pulled the alternator belt off, and the car fired up again at the starter, and that crazy rod knock noise wasn't there anymore. So it leads me to believe that the alternator might be the culprit of this whole rod knock sound thing, but we still can't figure out why the car won't turn on with the key, but it will start at the starter here if you jump it a few times. The starter ran before. Everything that came off that other swap, they swapped into here, so everything worked fine there. It should technically work here, so we might have another problem, but I'm going to kind of turn it on for you guys real quick and let you hear that the car is on and is running healthy. And we still got to bleed the cooling system, so I'm going to plug it up, Paco. Try to take it with the key. See how it doesn't work there? I'm going to do it with our starter real quick. So you can hear that it doesn't have any rod knock noise. It actually sounds pretty healthy, but now we have an issue with it not turning on at the ignition switch, and we got to jump in here at the starter. Right now we're running off the battery because the alternator doesn't have the belt on it, because it has that crazy rod knock noise. So we're just gonna turn it on for now, just you know, overlook everything and double check everything, and then you know, we'll get back to it when it is all buttoned up. You gotta keep it. It's because you also got a dead battery too. So I'm pretty much gonna cut this video here because we don't have an alternator, but you guys did just heard the car turn on, reverse, and go forward. We don't want to kill the battery because we don't have a jumper pack. I do, but he doesn't, so we want to at least have some battery in there, so when we get the alternator in, the whole charging system will work. So we got the cooling system fully bled. The bottom hose is definitely hot. Had the heater on, we revved it up, watch all the coolant bubble come out through our custom funnel right there, and the car bled itself out. It got to warming temperature. We got a black widow right there. That should look crazy as fuck, bro. Look at that motherfucker right there. Can't see it. Yeah, that's a black widow, son. It's gonna bite your ass when you sit on that bench. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna cut the video here. And definitely some other day we will take it out, do some passes for you guys. Maybe go to Mexico, I don't know. But I hope you guys liked the video. Definitely give it a thumbs up, like, and then subscribe if you guys want to see some more dope content with all the turbo shit that we are doing. So I'll definitely see you guys in the next video. Hopefully, maybe of this car do some tasks because it's obviously running. And I'll see you guys next time.